today we are going to discuss about our new topic, which is natural products. So, the organic compounds are obtained from two major sources, as previously told in introduction. That there are two major sources of organic compound: living sources and non-living sources. When organic compounds are obtained from living sources, particularly plants and animals, when organic compounds are obtained from plants and animals, or any other living organism, then at that moment these organic compounds are known as natural products. These organic compounds are known as natural products. Now, there are multiple natural products which are obtained from plants and animals or any other sort of living organism. For example, bacteria or fungi or any sort of algae or protozoa. But in general, the products we obtain includes carbohydrates, proteins, cellulose, starch, amino acids, or we also utilize them as source of food, and we extract several important compounds such as uh, resin, latex. These are some organic compounds which are obtained from organic excretory compounds from plants. And apart from that, there are certain natural products which are obtained in form of alkaloids. Alkaloids are naturally occurring nitrogenous organic compounds obtained from living organisms. And example of this includes morphine. And apart from that, we are also having nicotine, which is obtained from a Nicotina tobacco, tobacco plant. And on the other hand side, we are having several drugs such as quinine from Cinchona plant. Quinine plant. It is an anti-malarial or antipyretic drug. Apart from which, if we talk about the process in which the natural products are synthesized or obtained from, you know, the living organisms are of two types, which includes number one, partial synthesis, and number two, total synthesis. Let us start off with partial synthesis. When it comes to partial synthesis, uh, whenever there is formation of an organic compound of our desired interest, whenever there is synthesis of an organic compound or a complex organic compound, particularly the processes of partial synthesis and total synthesis are for synthesis of complex organic compounds rather than simple organic compounds. So partial synthesis is a process in which there is synthesis of complex organic compound by modifying an already existing organic compound which is obtained from animals or plants. For example, if there is, let's take the example of hydroxyquinine. Hydroxychloroquine is a drug, is an anti-malarial drug which is obtained by modifying the already existing compound named as quinine, which is obtained from the cinchona plant, right? But if we it's hydroxyquinoline. And if we talk about another example, we have the example of an anti-inflammatory drug, which is named as ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is like it is a drug which is obtained from plant's compound named as cumin. So it is obtained from an already existing compound by modifying the already existing compound cumin. Ibuprofen is obtained. There's no usually there's no longer series of uh, you know complex reactions in it, and it mostly is a process which is quite convenient because there is no further complex chemical reactions occurring. Simply by modifying the compound, the products can be easily obtained. If we talk about total synthesis, as the name suggests, is the synthesis of the complex organic compound from the scratch or from its simplest building blocks. For example, if we talk about an anti-cancerous drug, paclitaxel. Paclitaxel is also known as Taxol. Uh, it is basically an anti-cancer drug which is not easily available in nature. So it needs to be synthesized in laboratory from its simplest building blocks from the scratch. And another thing I would like to highlight over here is that totally synthesized drugs which are synthesized for total synthesis are those pharmaceutical drugs which are not easily available in the nature. So that's something which scientists need to synthetically do it, synthetically make them in the laboratory from the simplest building blocks. So this is a basic concept about natural products. Apart from which, if we talk about another important concept about organic compounds is biotechnology. We need to understand first what biotechnology is. It is a branch of biology, engineering, and technology which deals with the usage of organic compounds, deals with the usage of products, deals with the usage of living organisms, compounds, and their uh, secretions. For example, we are having cells, cellular enzymes, or DNA. By the usage of it is a field in which the usage of living organisms, compounds, and their secretions. For example, cellular enzymes or cellular hormones or DNA, we can create some valuable products that are important and good for human welfare. For example, if we talk about the example of vaccines. Vaccines are basically inactive pathogens. These are inactive pathogens. Pathogens are those organisms, those microorganisms which cause disease in our body. For example, bacteria or fungi or virus, all of these are pathogens. Which now, sorry. So inactive pathogen. What vaccine contains? Vaccines are basically products of biotechnology. Using biotechnology, we synthesize several vaccines. For example, COVID-19 vaccine is also synthesized through biotechnology, in which what actually happens is that the pathogen is weakened or it is attenuated or weakened and inactivated pathogen, and that inactivated pathogen is inserted in our body in the form of uh, vaccine, and that vaccine when inserted in our body in the form of inactivated pathogen then causes to trigger our immune system, and our immune system in with respect to that causes to secrete antibodies to eradicate that inactivated pathogen, because our body gets alerted whenever there's danger coming inside our body. So after killing that inactivated pathogen, which is quite easy to do so because it is inactivated and dead, so either inactivated or dead depending on the type of vaccine. So once it is killed, the body saves the information of that inactivated pathogen in the form of a memory in a cell which is known as memory cell, and that memory cell whenever encounters the pathogen in its activated form or in its real form, then that pathogen is ultimately killed by the action of a memory cells, in which the memory cells immediately convert themselves into the killer T cells and then ultimately start to produce antibody and kill that pathogen at the very instant the pathogen enters in the body. But if there is no vaccine inoculated in the person's body, then this won't be the case for our body's immune system, because our body's immune system first will recognize it and then start to create a response against it. Then it will take time for synthesis of those antibodies. But in case of an already encountered attack, uh, which is coming in future, it is easier for our body to do so. So that vaccines are an important part of biotechnology which helps us prevent uh, us from pathogenic attacks and cause immunization against those attacks. And another important factor is on the commercial basis is fermentation. Fermentation is a process in which we obtain uh, fermentation is a biological process in which there is obtainal of any biologically important compound through living organism. For example, we most of the time utilize yeast, which is known as Saccharomyces cerevisiae. uh, Yeast basically has the capability to undergo alcoholic fermentation in which there is production of ethyl alcohol. So in brewing industries, fermentation causes to produce ethyl alcohol as well as vinegar, depending on the type of species of yeast, and some other important compounds as well. Lactic acid is also produced in case of lactic acid fermentation. So in that sense, these are some important natural products that I wanted to discuss in this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll meet in another video.